first floppy size is this much.
Oh, really? I've seen it like this.
No, so that's the second size.
Awesome.
So if you see the journey of memory, keeping the memory and taking the memory, it was in bits and bytes. It was not in M.
Exactly. Hello everyone and welcome to a new podcast series launched by the Museum of Digital Society in collaboration with Digital Empowerment Foundation called EDGE. Today we start a chronicling of 30 years of internet in India, and we started with Mr. Osama Manzar, the founder director of Digital Empowerment Foundation. I am Akanksha, representing Museum of Digital Society, a vertical that looks at understanding the digital development story of India and showcasing stories, innovations, best practices, as well as artists' representation of their work and their experience with digital, right now instituted in Pondicherry. We are going to start this series today by understanding how people who saw a new world when the internet was launched in 1995 saw the magic behind a technology like this. We also want to talk about how the earliest days of web would be about understanding that internet was a new technology that was connecting and going beyond borders, a technology that connected people from across the world and also connected people meaningfully. This episode will cover 5 years of the early internet journey. We're going to be talking about 1995 to 2000, the moment the internet first touched India, and also understand how ideas began to change around this technology. We want to talk to Osama about understanding poverty alleviation, understanding access, and creating an information ecosystem through the means of digital. Osama Manzar is now widely known for creating digital models aimed at poverty alleviation and bringing digital tools to marginalized communities. But in the mid-1990s, he was understood as a journalist, as an individual who was also seeing the development of the internet. Today, we talk to him about his journey, about Digital Empowerment Foundation, and also about understanding how communities can stay meaningfully connected. But before we ask Osama about his personal path, let's set the scene. We are now in the mid-1990s, and many countries are now talking about the internet. We've seen the first dot, we've seen the first line, we've seen the first wave, we've seen an old computer, and we're also talking about how internet is becoming a commercial success. In India, the public internet service began in 1995, and I remember I was 3 years old when the internet came to the country, and I remember it being almost like magic. People talked about it in terms of it being an access point that would only connect. But in 1990s, the dot-com energy was rising globally, and it was rising exponentially. In India's internet reach, we were limited to a very few access points, and that's where I want Osama to start. Osama, thank you for joining us, and I would like you to take us back to 1995 and tell us what you were doing in that year.
Yeah, thank you very much, and very glad that we are bringing the 30 years of story of internet and digital to the people who are more populated the world under that age than the people over that age. Yeah, isn't it? So 3 decades of internet. And I'm also delighted to talk about it, is that my life is all around digital and digital development and internet, but I did not grow. I am born in late 60s, so you can imagine, and neither in the study nor in anything has any background, nor in education or whatever. I'm not a computer scientist, I'm not an IT person, I'm nothing. I'm just grew up, or rather made my career in journalism. But I would like to describe the first 5 years of internet, which is 95 to 30, is that I had just left Down to Earth magazine and got into SOS Children's Villages of India. And then after that, I got a very stable job as a correspondent. And then gradually I became assistant editor in a magazine called Computer World. That was late 94, December I got a job, but in January, you can say 95 for the sake of just completing 5 years of that last century. In 95, when I joined Computer World, I actually learned anything and everything about computers. But my teachers were mostly the coverage of industry, coverage of the people that you now see as billionaires and all that from Infosys and all that. And that was my background. But I still remember that I had taken a loan from my father to buy a computer, dabba, and it was at that time about 25 to 30,000 rupees.
Yeah.
At that time, so it was not cheap, and there was no internet connection even at my home. And suddenly the government announced that internet is now, the first dial-up will be logged in on 15th of August of 1995. And working in a Computer World magazine and covering all the CIOs and EDP managers, we used to call the people, actually I would say that the people who actually taught digital or the computer or internet to most of the people are mostly the corporates, I would say, because they are the first adopters, and our magazine was about covering them, how Maruti was using internet or technology, how the big companies like Apollos are doing, or MRF Tires would be doing, or even Times of India as a big media company. All this I'm taking example because I did a case study on that, how they were using technology. And when 15th of August it was launched, and so I was waiting as if that, the biggest rock star is going to sing a song in India, and I'm waiting, and then the first dial-up happens, and we had made all arrangements at home to buy modems and everything, and that sound of connecting through the modem and the telephone. And I didn't have telephone at home, so we were living in Gurgaon in a colony, and my in-laws colony was a little far away, and I used to go to my mother-in-law to log in with my computer. I installed it there because mostly internet was supposed to be connected by telephone. We didn't have telephone at our place, and there was no mobile. So the first bill came, the August bill, when came, it was 5,000 rupees.
Whoa, at that time?
And my mother, so shocked, I thought that she would faint. Where will she pay for 5,000 rupees? And I said, no, I will pay. You don't have to pay and all that. But having said that, what I was doing, I was reporting. I was technology reporting, technology usage reporting. I had a bit of sense of internet and computers and digital, how world was using. So that was really a deja vu kind of moment, that every day after 6 or 7, when we go back home, I would go to eat my dinner and then take my scooter and go from my colony to my mother's colony, log in, browse. I remember I think for many years internet hooked me so much that I was not even sleeping more than 4 or 5 hours. I was using 18 hours of time to browse, internet, report, write, and things like that. It was so exciting that I was interviewing BBS people who were the pre-internet era people. I was interviewing the EARNet people from Ministry of Technology. I was interviewing some of the kids, what you call as whiz kid, that how they are using technology. So that was very interesting. Obviously, at that point of time, there was no sense of understanding that how the poor people would be using, because it had just come, and I think it was a top-down affordability model as far as the internet concerned, because for internet you need a computer, you need connectivity, you need to pay for your telephone bill. So affordability was very, very high. So that's the reason why corporate hooked into it very quickly.
Yeah.
And then gradually I think government started getting into it, but before government, media very strongly started getting into it, because they suddenly started seeing that people want to also read newspapers and magazines and news online also. That is an option, especially the diaspora. Those were some of the very interesting. VSNL at that time, Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited. Does this name sound like it will be giving internet to us? So, a new company was created, and then they used to provide you buy the internet. It was you pay for the. I think buying the internet was not the initial way, because you were supposed to call through the telephone. So therefore, you're paying for the telephone bill because you're connected.
Yeah.
And that is also very interesting, because when we got into internet, we suddenly started seeing that our telephones are busy. So if somebody is calling, you're not going to get a phone. And then suddenly, in a few years, many people started coming out. You can talk to any person from telephone also. And then somebody also, what was I doing mostly online? I was searching different kind of softwares, different kind of possibilities, different type of websites. I would say at that time, one thing was there. When we used to go to internet, there was no sense of doubt. There was a lot of trust. That means when we are seeing any content, we are also have a mindset that it's not questionable.
Yes.
Because that is how we grew as a consumer of information, because every information that came either through the book or the newspaper or a magazine or whatever was filtered through a lot of trustworthiness, And the reason I'm saying is that now nobody goes to internet with that kind of trust, and that is the big thing. And that was now I can relate that time we just go. I remember, I will give you one. There used to be a software called Internet Relay Forum, IRF. It's a very textual way of chatting anybody in the world.
Oh, wow.
Right? And it all text, as if that you are writing a DOS prompt or something like that. And I figured out that, if you click that, you open, and then there is somebody who is online, it is showing. And then you click on one of the things. And I clicked on one person, and most of the rooms were open. It's something like there are different rooms and different people. And everybody who logs in is visible to everybody. So somebody asked, who is this? So I said, I am Osama Manzar from India, New Delhi and all that. Where are you from? He said, I am from some California or US, some US person. So he said, well, where is Delhi? Where is New Delhi? I said, New Delhi is not known to the world. Or this guy is like, playing or not. And then gradually we realized that most of the US people have no knowledge about the world. So it was a very interesting thing is that you are saying that I'm talking from the capital of the country and India, and this person doesn't even know which place are you talking from. So that was very interesting. I have lots of more stories that I can tell you. If you have any question in between, let me know.
I will.
But this was also an era where the memories were supposed to be in books and floppies. Books. The reason I'm saying books is because of the size. The first floppy size is this much.
Oh, really? I've seen it like this.
No, so that's the second size.
Awesome.
So if you see the journey of memory, keeping the memory and taking the memory, it was in bits and bytes. It was not in M.
Exactly.
It's not megapixel was still, in megabytes was still not the thing that one can talk about.
Yeah.
So I remember that the first computer that I had a big floppy disk.
Yeah.
And I used to take that floppy, and floppy it's like a X-ray negative into it.
Oh, like was it foldable?
No, it is not foldable. I'm saying that the inside is like a floppy memory used to be taken into that kind of filament.
It had that
negative kind of thing. So you have to be very careful how you are keeping. So I used to take the memory from home to office to home in that one. And then I used to have a stack of floppies. Wow. We used to buy a stack of floppies. So it's like keeping a book, like a book.
Yeah.
Like a thin book.
Yeah.
It's like a, it's like a 350 to 500 GSM paper, size. And then suddenly, even before 2000, I think in this episode we are talking more about the first 5 years. So we got into the second size, which is the harder one.
Yeah, that's the one I saw.
Which is like a hard plastic. And it has got the memory which was increased, the space was shrinking. So that was also looking like that how technology was developing, where the memory is increasing but the size is decreasing. The machine is also decreasing the size, but its power is increasing.
Yes.
Exactly like the human body. Human body, mind, which is a memory and everything which controls, is very small, this one, and look at the whole body size. So the human machine is also a very good symbol of figuring out.
That's very relevant for you to say today, at least.
Yeah. And one of the things that I would say that I was very lucky, because in the same first 5 years when I was working in computer world till 2000, till 1997, and then I got an opportunity to go to Hindustan Times to head their internet division. So I was talking about technology in a print media and covering the people who are using technology mostly in the corporate sector, and very less individuals or government. So for example, at that time, our destination of coverage will be most of the companies, technology companies, what they are inventing, what they are bringing, what kind of machine, Pentium 1, Pentium 2, and all you might have heard of at that time. Even before Pentium, there used to be something which I have forgotten what used to be called. It's and everything was DOS based and all that. But what I'm actually trying to say is that the journey was going in such a way that I was working in a print media for talking technology and its development in various. And then from there, I'm going to Hindustan Times to head their internet division, where my job is to set up their website. And I have no background of setting up a website, because at that time, website was what? It's a new media. www, World Wide Web, came to us. And then when most of the people started going online, the knowledge of that started being called as new media. And that's very interesting that I'm from print media, I'm going to new media, but I'm still thinking of technology, but now also implementing to take things online.
Yeah.
And guess what? In Hindustan Times, when I went, I joined as one person department. When I left in another 2.5 years, we had about 50 people, 40 to 50 people.
They expanded from 1 to 50.
Yeah, and I will tell you the story because, it's very interesting story. And because it is also part of the under 2000 in
journey.
The first 5 years, and it will tell various story. So at that time, most of the newspaper started going online, and Hindustan Times was one of the things. 3 trend. One is that the whole diaspora is reading Indian news before you.
Wow.
Right? Because as soon as the newspaper goes to bed, going to bed means it is gone for printing. That is the terminology it is used on the editorial floor or the floors of a newspaper organization. And as soon as it goes to bed, our job was to immediately upload the whole content online. Right? So you will be reading in the morning. If you're an early riser, you will read your newspaper not before 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Or maybe 5:30 or 6 o'clock in very close by. But people have already read and reacted online. So in the morning, after going to bed and uploading, when I come back next day in the morning, I have thousands of letter to the editor lying. And that made the whole editorial team, dancing with happiness that they are getting so much of feedback,
traction,
which earlier they didn't know how to get those feedback because it was coming by the snail mail. And now suddenly you are getting, a lot of more feedback. And then all the writers and editors and all the sub-editors, they are saying, we want to talk to them directly. We want to also... None of them had emails. They used to come to my cabin and say, hey, Osama, I don't have a mail, man. Can you create an email for me? So creating emails, and at that time Hotmail was very famous. So most of them was Hotmail. So you can imagine how shabby it will look today when you say a person working in Hindustan Times sending mail from Hotmail. It doesn't look nice. But their getting online itself was a big thing, and that is a very good learning, that how the most literate, educated community of journalists also are, coming to you to just get an email ID so that they can talk to the world. And their stories are read by the audience, several thousand across 7 oceans, reading much before than this one. So this whole thing. And what happened is that once we developed this website of Hindustan Times and we were I was becoming restless, what to do and all that. So I used to do, as I said, I used to do a lot of browsing and all that. So my habit of writing was not gone. So I started connecting international magazines, telling them that I want to write for you what's happening in India. So if you see, there is a chronicle, that book that I have written, which is I used to write for a magazine from Silicon Valley called Industry Standard, and its title was The Weekly Magazine of the Internet Economy. And they used to pay me. They asked me to write. I wrote to the editor that I really like your magazine and all that. I immediately subscribed. I used to read Wired magazine, by the way. So I'll come back to that, and I'll tell you what kind of things that really made me excited about all this. But first thing is that I started writing for Industry Standard. And once they agreed that, okay, I write, they said that they're not interested in writing full page or big story coming from India. For them, India was too small on the cyber world or the digital world or in the .com era. This magazine was launched because of the .com boom. I don't know whether you have heard of this .com boom. .com boom is the first boom of technology, digital technology or internet. That means everybody wanted to have a .com. I want to get into .com. .org was also not there. That means that also shows that .com means commercially going online. That means for commercial purpose you are going online was the first trend. .org means general organization coming online came second trend. The third trend was .gov. Right? This domain, how different domain started coming, also shows the story of the gradual penetration of technology and internet in the lives of the people. You know? Now you can get .family also. Now you can get .ngo also. Now you can get .global, .tv, whatever. Right? But going back to, and they told me that you write only 200 word.
Okay.
And only once in 4 weeks. Only once in 4 weeks. So they used to write, sometimes they got excited about the news because Indians were started doing very well in Silicon Valley. So they asked me to write sometimes twice. But I remember that I wrote several things, that how India, VSNL launched, how Apollo started e-health and how the whole thing was doing, that there is a whole chronicle which we can show. But that was one development. The second development was Yahoo was very popular at that time. Everybody wanted to go to Yahoo to search.
Yeah, I'm the Yahoo generation.
So you may be Yahoo generation, but I don't know what do I call myself in terms of digital. I devoid my age, but I was quite a netizen from that perspective. The day it came, we were part of it. And when Yahoo came, I talked to my boss, who was a marketing head of the Hindustan Times. Incidentally, they didn't know where to put the internet department. So the vice president of marketing actually was the head of internet division of Hindustan Times.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's actually really funny. But I told them, can you ask the owners of the newspaper and all that, can we get some money? I want to develop Yahoo for India.
Awesome.
Right. And guess what? They agreed.
Wow.
They allocated 20 lakh rupees to hire more people and develop yahoo.com for India. And that is when I increased the team and hired a lot of people. We developed what is called digitalht.com.
Okay.
So this is also showing how newspapers are going online, but newspapers are also expanding to create parallel entity.
Yeah.
When digitalht.com was born and launched, Rediff.com was already there in the market as a portal, as a general portal. So the CEO of Rediff.com, I just met him in Kerala a few weeks back. He called me and said, who is this person who has developed this? And he got to know about me and he called. He said, congratulations, this looks very, very good, but we have now competition in the market. And as soon as it was launched, Hindustan Times got a call from Chase Capital. They got $9 million as an investment if we were ready to launch it as a separate company.
Wow.
So that also shows the trend of VC coming in, .com investment coming in, technology going boom and all that. And on the other hand, in the more practical side, I started my writing in technology with most of the people who were used to be designated as EDP managers, electronic data processing managers. So these people were the head of the corporate who used to look after the technology of the organization.
Got it.
And within 5 years, all these people were being changed to be called as chief information officers. Right?
Nice.
So technology is taking a backstage,
yes,
but the purpose is taking the front stage. That's also. And then Y2K was coming.
Yeah. But before you talk about Y2K, I actually wanted to highlight this thing that you mentioned, that at that time you were coming from the side of being a netizen. And when internet was launched, I think I was very young when I started hearing theories about how it's penetration by the USA because it's a military product, because that's what the internet was used for back then. And there was a lot of misinformation, but there was a lot of interest in it as well. Like very rightly when you mentioned that, we went in with this binding of trust that it's going to be amazing. And I remember as a young preteen who got access, I was so excited that I could talk to anybody sitting anywhere in the world. And I looked at it as magic because we didn't understand the connection. But you were reporting on the technical part of it. How do you build that connection and how it's commercial and how there's investment now in this product? So coming from a perspective of being a journalist, reporting at that time, is there an incident that you want to tell me that really changed the way that you looked at the internet, from moving from a commercial perspective to a perspective where you wanted to socially understand the internet economy?
So, I have a background of working in Down to Earth. And even before Down to Earth, I was a journalist without job for 4 years. Yeah. So I used to report mostly the stories which is grassroots, artists and culture and, how poor people in the slums are living and things like that. So I had a very strong, writing on mental asylum in Ranchi, writing on drought in Palamu, coming from Jharkhand, writing about, many such things, how women groups work. I remember that in the previous time I had written a train hospital, which is used to be called Lifeline at that time. So I had written all that. So I was certainly had this somewhere, but I don't remember between 1995 and 2000, I had still had a link to relate internet to the poverty alleviation or social causes, except at this time, you know what, think about me. I have got an aphrodisiac or whatever, I don't know what kind of medicine I have got, internet. So like you said, magic. It was a magic to me. So I was consuming myself. It's magic, you know. And in this, just within 5 years, I spent 2.5 years in a print media with a computer world, and then I go to Hindustan Times. There also I built their website. Then I built something which is going into a direction of creating a new company. So this is also, this metamorphosis of understanding itself is quite a lot. And in next episodes, I can also explain how this actually started playing on me. But at this point of time, you know, media is not going from my head for sure. It's not going. From print media to new media. Technology is my nervous system at the moment, right? And I am learning how to translate these skills into something else. What will come later is my software company, which I will tell more about it. And that is when the story will start coming to relate to what we do today. But at that point of time, I still remember that those 5 years completely mesmerizingly getting into online, discovering online. And I tell you so much, because my job was not journalism when I was in HT. My job was to create a website for them and get their content uploaded. After that, my job was to build another website, which is a portal, which is an Indian portal. Whoever is online, their entire, like Yahoo, was the second job. But I am still an unsatisfied person, because where do I do my journalism? So I used to write about Indians, how India is taking internet in foreign magazines. For example, I used to write in a Singapore magazine called MIS Manager about how the corporates in India are taking. So there was a case study I did on Maruti. There was a case study I did on Times of India. There was a case study I did on NIC, National Informatics Center. You know, these were the people I did, and that's my part-time job in a way, because I had a lot of time to do it. So I used to also earn foreign currency for myself, but apart from learning. But all this is giving me international aspect, and this is also telling me to write about local content for the global audience.
Absolutely.
Both are giving me this chance and choice, and then meeting everybody as a journalist is giving me a knowledge. I remember in one of the interview as a journalist, I was talking to somebody and asked a question. The person said that, don't take it otherwise, but I don't think your question is appropriate, but let me reframe your question. As a technologist, because I was not a technologist, but I was reporting technology, right? But I didn't know what to ask. So all these people were teachers for me, you know, the MIS managers. I remember I had met Narayan Murthy, Nilekani, all these people in their youth back then. There was not a single big company or a good company that I had not interviewed.
Amazing.
So that actually gave me a very strong background of learning how technology is penetrating in India. But since technology is always top down, it is never bottom up, let me tell you. Because technology is an innovation by the people, and it is always difficult to adopt it for the masses very quickly. Even internet today, we are still, more than 65% of our women are unconnected. And I can come back in another episode to talk about the modern statistics. So there is a very strong ways of how technology goes into the life of the people. And I think by 2000, the technology was still not touching the lives of the people. You know, it was by 2000. I think it started touching very strongly the government to build systems for the people, because India is a welfare country. India was certainly at a bureaucratic level. They were trying, and I see they established a National Informatics Center. National Informatics Centers has a route up to the district level. To develop technology for the people at that level through district collectors and all that district magistrate office. But what I am actually trying to say is that for me personally, all these stories were individual stories. Like I tell that there were some people who were whiz kids were using technology. A lot of young people were developing the online technology for talking online. I remember I used to send my article as a fax through my computer.
Wow.
To the newspaper, to the magazines that we are seeing. So that means I was also using those technology. So now I see, oh my God, I can easily figure out that how technology can be appropriated for the masses, because the same fax, it was my discovery from the online that there is a system in the modem that you can download some software and you can fax it.
Yeah.
Right. So similarly, people figured out and they converted the same modem connection and telephone connection into talking over IP, telephone over IP, internet protocol. So that is how, my friend Farhan was one of the millionaires because of that, for developing that software. I think we should talk to him also.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So this was very interesting that, that technology was yet to touch the heart of the masses, people.
So I think because you've talked so much about understanding this kind of ecosystem back then, and as people, when I was younger, there was no access to readings where you could understand how internet came, what was the idea behind it, or how corporates were actually kind of taking that knowledge to them. So just for everybody who would like to kind of understand, if they want to go back and read, would you like to tell me what you were reading at that time? Were there particular books that really interested you? Were there authors that were writing about it in a way that was more meaningful in a way?
Yeah, so I will tell at least two story. One is that since I was discovering online and all that and searching, I came to know that there is this magazine called Wired.
Yeah.
And the cover looked amazing. But guess what? Wired was also as a print available in India.
As a magazine?
As a magazine.
Wow.
At that time, I had a collection of several years of Wired in my house, and I cry every day, why did I lose it?
Wow. I've only ever seen it online.
They are amazing in design, amazing in presentation, amazing in story, amazing in photography and layout and all that. And I was always more fascinated by the layout and design and all that. So I started reading Wired, and I got in touch with Kevin Kelly, who was the founding editor of Thing. And I can't forget that I wanted to interview, and I wrote a mail and he replied. Then he said that, okay, you can send your questions and I will reply. And I don't remember all my questions, but I remember one question. One question that I asked is, what is the future of technology? And his answer was, the future of technology is biology.
That's very relevant today in the world of AI.
But think about it. The guy is saying that future of technology is biology. And maybe because your previous question that could I relate to social? I remember that, not now, even at that time, I immediately correlated why he was saying that. It is because if you look human body as a machine, nobody sees human body as a machine. Human body is so profound that, but if you go deeper, we have a nervous system which take the information. You think here, you touch here. Immediately that information goes through the nerve to the mind, and mind relates. What is it? Then you can say, oh, it was a needle.
Yeah.
Within microsecond, it is a needle. What is this? This is a physical touch, but conversion into information. That information is flowing through the body, and going into some location, then correlating and contextualizing, and then letting you know to speak from your mouth, it's a nail.
Yeah.
Even without seeing. And then you see and easily reconfirm. It is all machine. So eye is a camera, ear is a microphone, and voice ear is a microphone or a speaker. This is a speaker. This is a microphone. So somebody a recorder and all that, and then there is a whole nervous system. So if you must have seen in anatomy class in biology, when the body is shown with all the nerves, they are wires.
Yeah.
They are wires. So that's and then this entire biological system, if you understand, it is all information. It's psychosomatic. And that's the reason why he said that to manage technology, you need to understand biology.
Yeah.
You know, that's the beauty. That's the, so I would say that was quite a prophetic remark that he made. The second is that Yvonne I. Schwartz, I still remember this. If you see this book, I mean, since I was all of the time searching, this book was released.
Nice.
So I bought this book and then I said, Yvonne, I wanted to interview you and talk to you. So I talked to him also.
Wow.
I had talked to this person also and read this entire book, and I'm so happy that I have still kept it. So similarly, there are many things. So this is one story. The other one is the Wired story. I can tell you hundreds of things, but digital Darwinism, I think this also is from that time or something.
By Schwartz.
Yeah.
Nice.
By Schwartz. And then this one, Esther Dyson. This is 2.0, but Esther Dyson had written, I think, some previous books also. So I was quite I was into it, you know, all the time searching what is coming, what is not coming. And by that time, by the way, none of the social media had come. None of the Wikipedia was also had not come, I think, by 2000.
No, not that.
You know, so we are still in the Dabba age, and it is still the software development age. It is still the curiosity age. It is still the hard work age. It is still the technological development age. It's still the inclusion age. It is still the curiosity age. It is still where all the schools wanted to have computers. It is still a time when government wanted to buy computers. It is still an age where none of the staff of government are still digitally literate or I would say computer literate. So it was still the era of buying hardware.
Yeah.
Software and content. Software was more the era of corporates, and content was more the era for media.
Yeah.
You know, that is what I would say, because media is about content creation, you know, so they were certainly at that time. Even till now, nobody could imagine the TV will be killed at some day.
Yeah.
No, so we have still not come to the fourth screen. We're still in the third screen. And I also allow me to talk about this 4-screen formula. So the first screen is cinema. The second screen is TV. The third screen is personal computers, the PC, right? We are still in the PC era. The fourth screen is mobile. And the fourth screen came in 1998 or 9 when the mobile came. But it didn't come as a screen. It came as call.
Yeah.
Calling distance. So your phone in your hand type.
Yeah.
You know, or mobility comes in your hand. But screen, I won't say the first time of Nokias of the world and all, they're about a screen. It is about the calling. It is about the calls and connectivity and linkages, but not about a screen. We are still in the third screen till 2000, I would say. Mobile has not come. That mobile, what you know as the screen-based mobile, is still not come. You know, so that's also is very, very important, that people are still thinking a computer and digital or internet as a computer and a dabba, which enables me to connect somewhere, but the dabba, the very strong hardware is involved in this one. Now you will see in the current generation, the whole value of hardware is almost negligible. It's more about information, content, knowledge, video, screen, message, and all that. So it's like telephone. Who remembers telephone as a piece of technology? Nobody. Everybody says telephone is for talking, right? And therefore you don't want to connectivity, you know. So therefore we are still in the era of between 1995 and 2000. Internet is still through a very strong hardware and affordability and thing. It's individual consumption is a matter of extremely you know, I would say for rich or who can really own it. If I was not a journalist, I would not have bought it or known so much. It was lucky that I was a journalist and I could adopt, because I see the rest of the journalists. They didn't adopt computers immediately. They still think that their main job is reporting and computer is the additional tool where I have to go and write, right? They still did not see internet as something which can be part of it. My approach to internet is that मैं तुमको पूरा खा जाऊंगा. You know, I will eat you up and digest it and figure it out that what you are good for. And that is how I would say.
I actually want to ask you a follow-up question there, because this is very interesting for me also, and it would be really nice for the young people who are watching this to hear the words that you're saying, because they're going to be unrelatable. Like for someone who's 17 now to hear floppy, they're going to have to go and Google it. So I want to know what other forms
Disk is the second word.
What other forms of tech were you using at that time? Like you said that the phone was not there, but before the phone, I remember there was a Palm Touch.
Yeah, I was the first buyer of Palm Mobile, but that came in 2004.
Oh, okay.
Far away, we will talk about it later. At that time, I was a proud owner or a buyer of. I'm a subscriber of Airtel. My still number is 98100.
Which is the older number?
Absolute, the first category, first level, first time of distribution of numbers. So I was that. I still have the same number. I one of the first subscribers of Airtel. I used to pay 18 rupees as just making a 2 to 3 minutes call.
Whoa, okay.
18 rupees.
And who were you calling when you?
And at that time, you pay also for receiving calls.
Yeah. Incoming.
Can you ever imagine? Now you say free website, free this, free that, app is free. Now we are the data. We are the consumer. At that time, we had to pay for each and everything.
Who were you talking to? The nation wants to know.
Nation wants to know. No, I'm saying I was completely mesmerized by this internet and technology. And thankfully, I had a job. In that era. At that time, I was working in Hindustan Times. So therefore, you know, buying new technology was my passion also, and my curiosity also, because I wanted to keep on trying. I must have used so far several. I don't, every stage of phone I have used.
Wow.
You know, unfortunately, I haven't kept all of them. I should have kept. But I remember it was still the era of Nokia and Airtels of the world, or that kind of connectivity and that kind of phone, when Wired magazine had done a cover story on Nokia connecting the world. It's their logo, and they showed that how the company works in they're Finland, right? I think they're from Finland. So they had shown the entire campus, and their visuals are so futuristic that it looked like that, you know, now we will make that kind of image to show what connectivity means. You know? So it was still a era of you know, hand phone, non-screen based phone. I mean, very small Tetris kind of thing coming on your phone. You are clicking this is going down, all the names entering is painful, but you are still enjoying because very few people can, you know, most of the call that you are making is to landlines rather than phone to phone, mobile to mobile. That was the era, because most of the people had that time. And I told you, in 1995, I didn't even have a landline. You know, and it was not easy. That's the reason I didn't have a landline. I was using the landline of my in-laws to get connected.
Yeah.
So
So I actually did a little bit of research in this era, 1995 to 2000, and you very rightly mentioned that technology was so expensive that the corporates were the one who embedded into the ecosystem
Yeah.
very early on, because they had that kind of interest in hardware and software as well. But you had written during this period a book called The Internet Economy of India, and that was a book that was written from a perspective of how economy at the intersection of technology works very well for India. Can you talk about it a little bit? Because I think that also really would highlight the shift from your journey in commercial to then government and then to media and community. So if we had to talk about that journey starting, how did Internet Economy of India help?
So I would say that I will talk about that book in the next episode, because that was published in 2001.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I'll give you a preview. I was writing for a magazine called Industry Standard.
Yeah.
Think about it. The name of the magazine is Industry Standard, and the subhead is writing weekly magazine of internet economy.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So internet economy word, and then you are still in industry. This concept came to me that, oh my God, these guys are crazy. You know, they are calling internet economy as a absolutely separate entity.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting and I was writing for that magazine. That means what I am writing has an economic aspect of the industry, the way it is growing. Right? And that is the understanding that came to me, which prompted me to write this book called Internet Economy of India. I am still, working on, at the moment, in 1999, when I left Hindustan Times, and I must mention that story maybe as we complete, when we went .com and when we created digitalht.com, Hindustan Times started looking for a new CEO. I was not a CEO, but they started looking for a new CEO for a new entity. And I was not angry, but I thought that how foolish they can be. You know, why are they calling CEO from somewhere else? We have created the product.
Exactly.
We should be running it for some time. Then they should have got somebody. And they didn't even ask. So I told my boss that I'm leaving and all that. He said, I am also going to leave. We will leave together. I said, oh, really? And he was still not ready to leave. And I am a person I'm very decisive. You are working with me for a long time, and you know, I'm absolutely decisive. I know that now I'm not enjoying my job here. I have to leave. So I left in 1999, but I carried as a consultant because of the new person to hand over and getting into forming a new company, which is a software company.
Yeah.
Right. And that was late 1999 and 2000. And the name of the company was 4C Plus. You know, why 4C? Content, creativity, commerce, and something like that. So like I said, 4C Plus, the name we created, our main job of my software company with a partner. So he was a technology partner. I am the person who knows people around and who will bring in business in a way. Our main job was to do website development of media company, right? And guess what? We developed website. I mean, we had already done, when we were developing the website of Hindustan Times, by the way, this person was an outside person who came in contact with me, who helped me to develop the website as a technology person. So he was a vendor. But after I left this person, he asked me that, can we work together? I said, not the company that you are running. We will have to create a new company. So we created this new company and all that. But main job was, how can we provide a skill and the capacity to develop website for everyone? And especially the newspaper, who has an entire supply chain of content created, then page is made, then it goes to the print. But from there, how does it go to the website? So that backend also, how it can be connected. And guess what? We develop website for Hindustan Times. Then after that, Midday, Amar Ujala, Rashtriya Sahara, Dainik Jagran, Tehelka.
These are all very big names.
Yeah, Outlook Traveler, Outlook Money. All these websites were developed by us and even hosted by us.
Amazing.
So I remember we started with 20 lakh in the bank, and the first 1.5 year we ended up with about 4 crores or something like that.
That graph is crazy. Okay.
Crazy graph. And we got
yeah.
investment also. So, but that came a little, I think it came in 2001 or something. But what was very interesting is that, so from print media to this one, new media, and now applying new media for the rest of the people and running a company. And when I was running a company, my still journalism had not gone.
Yeah.
And I was still running what we called as iKnowMe.
At that time.
So I created a separate company for running an online magazine called Internet Economy of India.
Yes.
And short form as iKnowMe.
Nice.
So that started in 99-2000, and this used to be a weekly email newsletters for the rest of the world. And iKnowMe then gradually prompted me to write this book, which I will talk later in the next episode. But for now, we are actually getting into as far as the trend is concerned, we are in a new media age.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah. I mean, thank you so much. I think one thing that I want to ask before we close this episode is also that today, like when we're sitting here, I'm 33 and I was 3 when the internet came in India. But I remember it, I already said like magic. But I think the people who also see this podcast will not understand is that at that time, geography was physical lines. It was a border, and that's how we talked about it as well.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing that the internet did at that time was create a borderless connection, which was that I could be sitting here and somebody in America could be talking to me and we could be sharing cross-cultural narratives, right? But the people who are born today, or even in the last 20 years, they are in this age of hyperconnectivity, where for them being an online citizen is more important than being an actual citizen, right? Of a country, of a nation, having that identity. So what is a message that you have for them coming from a space where you were in the thick of building this technology that was very positive, that was about trust, that was about connection, today where it's almost been demonized with the interventions of AI, robotics, and having this suspicion of being an online citizen? What would you want to say to them?
So I would say to them is that, and it's a challenge, because, in early era, you are still living in a brick and mortar world and seeing internet and technology and digital and everything as a medium to access information. The change is only that earlier you were unable to interact in a real time or and share your information, because your medium of accessing to information was mostly print. When it became online, it became TV, which was again one way. The internet brought two-way process. Right? So that's a big thing. But till 2000 or early, I would say before social media era, we were still treating internet as a medium of accessing information and publishing information. Right? We are still not got into a parallel age or era. Now what is happening, at that time, virtual is a far away thing to think, right?
It's a dream.
So it's a dream, or you can see it's not a living era, living reality. Now the current era is living in two parallel lives. One is offline, one is online. And online has become so immersive that now you are naturally bipolar. Right? So earlier, being bipolar will be a disease or a mental health problem. And that's the reason why you now see mental health problem has so much, because you are literally living a bipolar life. Being an online life and also physical, because physically you eat, but online you order. They both are so strongly. Many people eat only because they like ordering online. Not the vice versa. right? So it's very interesting. We will talk about it, but I don't want to give any message, but I'm only being compassionate to realize the challenges of the modern era. And incidentally, even people like me have gone into so much of using online medium for good reason or bad reason or as a habit. It certainly is a habit, I mean, I'm usually on my mobile easily 3-4 hours, more than 3-4 hours, and then if not there, then I'm on this one. Although all my hours are not only browsing social media, but it's mostly creating, I mean, work related, but it's still online through a screen, and so there is a very strong challenge that the modern life is going through of a bipolar life. And I can be only feel sorry for this situation for all of us, and especially for the new generation and the generation which is living there. That's the reason why you see, and we can end there saying that Australia has banned the social media for up to 16 years of your age. So now that's what I'm saying. Now the things are coming where from curiosity, desire, need, it's now becoming exclude, reject, block, all those things are coming.
Thank you. So in the next episode, we'll continue the story and go from 2000 to 2005. Osama, thank you. And this was Edge for you.